Hello student, welcome back. And previously we did until here we study about speed, acceleration, and let's have a quick brief in summary of previously what we have done. So previously we already done about the speed, the formula. This one I think you guys know already, right? Speed equals to distance divided by time. So this is also the formula for mathematics, I believe. I think in mathematics you will learn this as well. And then just remember, most of the time students do wrongly is because of the unit. So the SI unit is meter and second, depending on the question. So if the question asks you kilometer per hour, so you just change it to kilometer per hour depending on the question. So of course from this question we can see that it is meter per second, and he got the answer. Velocity, almost the same, still the distance divided by the time, but the only difference is displacement divided by time. Nothing much different. You still get the distance divided by the time and you got the answer. Acceleration means how fast you can go in a given time. For example, we can see that from 0 to 4. So I need to use 4 minus 0 divided by 5. Correct or not? See, 4 minus 0 divided by 5. So it's a formula lah. A equals to V minus U over T. So the final velocity minus the front divided by the total time, 5 seconds. Maybe you want to remember this picture. It's easier, or you want to remember the formula, up to you. And yeah, today we are going to go through probably the experiment. The experiment, how we want to do experiment, and how we want to calculate by the using the experiment, because not all things is like the bicycle where you already know the speed. So how do you want to calculate the speed? Of course car you know, because car you can see that there is a speedometer, so you can see the speed of the car. But how about if I drop a phone, or how if I push a trolley? So how do we calculate that? And we need to do a experiment in order to be able to calculate that. So let's look at this. These are some of the example you can read. Okay, 100-meter race he recorded in 12.5. What's the average speed? Distance divided by the time. Distance divided by time, you get 7.95. These are some of the example. What is the speed of the car? This one you can do by yourself. Usain Bolt start race at 10.44. This one is what? Rest means 0. So always remember, sometimes they didn't give you the 0. But rest, what do you mean by rest? The rest in the English term sometimes is in physics, English science physics term, it means it does not move, it is station. Either we will use the word station or rest. That's why we say it train station, right? It stop at there. So it will rest at there, and velocity at the final velocity 10.44. So 10.44 minus 0 divided by 9.58. So this is the speed of Usain Bolt, 10.44 divided by 9.58 seconds, you'll get 1.09. Displacement still the same, just using the distance divided by the time. Distance, you get 350 by 60, you get 5.83. How about the displacement? Displacement is 100, 150, 100. So the displacement is 150, right? So 150 divided by the time, 60, you get 2.5 meter per second to the east. So that is the velocity, and they also gonna give you the direction, which is more accurate. Okay, so now let's look at the experiment. So in order to measure the time, we need to use a ticker tape. So ticker tape, it can, what we can see at here is ticker tape vibrate 50 vibration per second. 50 vibration per second, that is the keyword. 50 vibration per second. Okay, so 50 vibration per second. So how to calculate this? For example, 15 ticks in 1 second. So 1 tick equals to how many? 1 tick. So if you do your mathematical calculation, this one times this one, this one times this one equals to x. So x equals to this one times this one, 1 times 1 divided by 50, you will get 0.02. So that is why the answer here they got 0.02, or we call it 15 vibration per second, also we call it 15 hertz. I think it's easier to memorize 0.02 because usually the exam they won't tell you that each tick is 0.02. Usually they will just say 50 hertz, and I haven't seen any question in science they talk when they put the experiment like 100 hertz or 25 hertz. Usually they will just use 50 hertz. So when they are using 50 hertz, we know that it's 0.02. So you just remember 0.02 is easier. If you cannot do this, then the whole experiment downstairs you cannot do because you cannot calculate the time. Okay, so what is this? What he used this? This is called a photo gate. It's a timing device used to measure very fast motion, short time accuracy. Photo gate is suitable to determine acceleration due to free fall, period of oscillation of pendulum, speed of trolley moving down track. So this is just a device we can measure depending on maybe like camera, video camera, you can measure the speed. You know the video got the time, right? So by using the time, you can measure the speed of the car, even though you just have a video. I mean the speed and the acceleration as well. And for example, like I'm talking to you, the hertz for the frame per second is actually 30. Means actually my setting for putting up this video is 30 frames in 1 second, but of course you cannot see it. And 30 frames per second is very good for teacher to teach because it's not a movie. Usually movie they put it 60 frames per second, and depending on what your camera, if you want to have an action movie, you might to put it higher. But for me, just teaching you, I just put it like 30 frames per second, means you are looking 30 picture in 1 second. So 0.0 second means 1 thought. The velocity has 5 tick. Calculate the speed, is it? Calculate the velocity. Or I put calculate the speed the same. I mean, yeah, in one sense it's still the same because it have the same direction. So speed equals to distance divided by time, or the velocity equals displacement divided by the time. So you get 10 cm divided by, usually I will just do like this, okay? Equals to, here is 10 cm. Careful, so it says cm. You might want to change to meter, but if the question didn't say, then you just use anything, okay? So I will just write 10 cm, if you want to write the cm, divided by the time taken. So 5 tick, 1 tick, 2 tick, 3 tick, 4 tick, 5 tick. So 5 times 0.02, you do 10 divided, press your calculator. If you use old calculator, remember to put a bracket. 10 divided by 5 times 0.02, you get 100. Here is the second, 0.02 second. So 100 cm, look at the word cm per second, or you can write 100 cm per second, just put a -1, okay? So it's correct, this two is correct. Okay, so the student mistake is usually here. If I want to ask you calculate how many tick here, so the student say 1 tick, 2 tick, 3 tick, 4 tick, 5 tick, 6 tick. So if the student calculate at 6 tick, then you will get your answer wrong. You get what I mean or not? You cannot calculate the first tick. You can see from this question is only 5 tick, because 1 tick means 0.02 second. 0.02 come to here, come to here again 0.02, come to here again 0.02, come to here again 0.02, come to here is 0.0. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4 times. There are 5 times 0.02. That's why I use 5 times 0.02 in order to get the total time. I don't write it 6 because where is the another 0.02 second? If you see what I draw, you can see that it is 5 0.02 second and it is not 6. So sometimes students confused, they do 1 2 3 4 5 6, 1 2 3 4 5 6, and they will get it wrong. So the easy way maybe just to draw this. If you forget, just draw one dot to another dot at 0.02 second. Okay, so this is we call it the ticker tab, the tick. So what happened is, I don't know whether your school will do this experiment or not. So they will put a paper, and the paper will dot 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 dot, but it will dot very fast for 50 seconds per second. Very fast for 50 seconds, and depending on the dot, you can get the speed. Okay, so these are the thing, the tick, direction of motion. So let's look at the question. So many experiments. So now you know how to calculate the speed by using ticker tape. So what you can do, so you know, right? Let's say if you cut the paper, you can get that, oh, this one is 100 cm per second. So what you can do, so it means you can do speed. You can calculate speed for the trolley, and now you can calculate the acceleration. Okay, A equals to V minus U over T. Acceleration equals to final velocity minus initial velocity divided by time. So you can do these two things after you understand the ticker tab, after you understand this formula. So let's look at the experiment. Let's first determine what the experiment, that is the most important thing. Because when you look at the picture, usually when I look at the picture experiment, I know what they want, but I'm just confused whether you want me to calculate the speed or and what you want to compare. So let's read at the aim. To determine the velocity and acceleration. So he want the velocity and the acceleration using a ticker tab. I just wondering what is the MV and the RV. So yeah, the MV for the experiment probably is the velocity and the acceleration, and the RV will be the result, the speed. I'm not sure for this one, MV and RV, if they need to do, but indeed there are some experiment that does not study the relationship, because usually when we study science, there is a relationship, like if this one increase, then that one increase. If this one low, then that one low. So this is a relationship experiment. If got water, plant survive. If no water, the plant will die. So we know that the pressure of water is the manipulated variable, and whether the plant live or die is the responding variable. So that is MV and RV. But for this experiment, probably it's just to determine the velocity and acceleration, and yeah, that's it. It is not like a relationship study, but just to know. But there is experiment just to determine, to find out something, to determine how fast is the car, to determine maybe what female, they like which superstar, BTS or ABC, I don't know, something like that. Okay, so you can determine it. Okay, so you want to determine the velocity acceleration. Okay, so now what you have ticker timer. Okay, you have the electric. Okay, you have 12 watt. Assuming that this is ticker timer is 50 hertz, so it is usually it's just 50 hertz lah, 0.02 second for one tick. Arrange it. So you put the trolley and it will take the paper and the trolley will go down, come down, and then it will dot 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 dot. Okay, after it got dot 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 dot, what you do is you cut it into 10 tick, up to you. Some students like to cut it in 5 tick, some students like to cut it with 10 tick. So if 10 tick means the time will be 10 times 0.02. If 5 tick is 5 times 0.02. Again, be careful in your exam whether it's 5 tick or 10 tick. You just be careful. So how to know? So you calculate, okay? You calculate. I'm here already tell you already. But if the exam didn't give, you just calculate 1 tick, 2 tick, 3 tick, 4 tick, 5 tick, 6 tick, 7 tick, 8 tick, 9 tick, 10 tick. You see, I minus 1 tick already. You can see or not? I didn't calculate the first tick because it is not supposed to be there. So I hope you understand. Last time when I was young, I was confused. I thought it would be 7 tick, 8 tick, 9 tick. It depends on the teacher. If your teacher want to make a difficult test, he will make you 8 tick. So because something divided by 8 or something divided by 7 is more difficult. So it depends on the teacher lah, whether the teacher in your school, they want to give you the easy question or difficult question. But by default, usually in the question and the exam paper, it is only usually 5 tick or 10 tick. So it's easy, 5 and 10. A gentle reminder again, I didn't count 1 tick. Or you didn't count 1 tick from the bottom. If you count up to, either you count bottom to up or up to bottom, means you just minus 1 tick lah. I hope you know this. If not, it will be wasted because you will use a lot of time to calculate and then you still cannot get the answer. So this question will take a lot of time. If you're not sure, maybe you might want to skip this question in exam first because it calculate lah. You need to calculate a lot. But anyway, to make things easier, if here 10 tick, usually all is 10. So you no need to calculate everything. If 5 is 5, if 7, then else is 7. No need to like every time also calculate. Okay, so after that you calculate already. Find the, let's say I want to find the speed. Usually I got 3 questions I want to ask. A, B, C. The first question is find initial velocity. The second question is find final velocity. And the third question is find acceleration. So I want you to pause this video and try to do these 3 questions for me. Find the assuming this graph is the question. So you assuming this graph is the question, this one is 10 if I'm not mistaken. Okay, assuming the most top part is 10. First question, find initial velocity. Second, find velocity. Third, find acceleration. So you can pause this video and try to do this question. I'm sure it will help you in your exam. Okay, so I assume that you guys may already try and train your mathematics skill. So let's see the student answer. My student answer give 0, 50 and 250. Actually, the common mistake of the student is the student didn't put the unit. So 0 means you will still get it wrong. So what is the unit? What unit should I put? So the unit will be cm s negative 1. I mean it's second lah, because the question already give you 1 tick is 1 second, so it's the unit is cm s cm over second, cm over second. Okay, let's try to do this. My student do, we know whether it's correct or wrong. Let's try to check it. Let's use a dark blue pen. It's a bit messy, so let me just erase here. And can I have like maybe a text box? Wait. Okay, let's try to do the A part. Find the initial velocity. Find the initial velocity. So V velocity equals to displacement divided by the time. So displacement is, you can see here, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The initial is this one. This is the final. So initial is 6 cm. 6 cm divided by the time is 1 tick, 2 tick. So just now we already do the question, got 10 tick. So 10 tick times, I do fast a bit lah. 10 ticks times 0.02. So it's actually 6 divided by 0.2. So you press your calculator, you will get 6 divided by 0.2, you get 30. So the first one is 30 cm s over s, okay? And for the B, again the same thing. Sorry, this is the U, this is the V. Final velocity. Usually the final velocity is faster unless there is a negative acceleration. V equals to again it's the same, displacement over time. Remember to write the formula, because I scared the exam they got marks for the formula. So even though you do wrong also, you still get it correct. I mean you still get 1 mark. Write the formula. Displacement divided by time. So here is 10 cm. 10 cm divided by 1 tick is 0.02 second times the how many tick? 10 tick. Okay, I put here s. So the answer will be 10 over s, cm over s, right? I put here s. So 10 divided by 0.2, you will get how many? You will get 50. So I just put back the unit, 50 cm s negative 1. So this is the final velocity, initial velocity, acceleration. See, what's the acceleration? So this one you got correctly. This one didn't do correct. I won't say like it's not correct, because the question say, you look at the question, whether the question is saying that it start from rest, because if start from rest then it will be 0, but here didn't mention. Ticker tab 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think we always start measure with the first this one. Okay, this one is the initial velocity, unless it's stated in the question it start from rest. Okay, so then after that, divided by the C, we have the acceleration. A equals to V minus U over T. So you got 50 minus 30 divided by the total time. So one strip is 0.2 second. Okay, so it divided by the total time for the experiment is one strip is 0.2 second. not 0.02 because here got many dot already. So 0.2 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times 5. So you'll get, let me press the calculator, 50 minus 30 divided by 0.2 times 5. So you get 20. 20, the unit is cm as negative 2. Negative 2 or over S2. I didn't put 1 because it's mathematic thing because you time divided by the time, you just get the power of 2 negative S. If you cannot, then you just remember acceleration always have S power of 2. This is not an easy question because it depends whether you want to start calculate by the 5 strip or you want to times 4 strip, because you start here to here. So I just times 5. And let's talk about science term, not in terms of exam. That's why sometimes students get it hard to do, because I also get it hard to do, especially in exam. But in science, actually I can use times 5 or I can use times 4, depending on depending on what you want. Because when we calculate the speed, the final speed at here is this one. The final speed here is 30. And here also is 30. Assuming that it is uniformly cut. So you want to measure, you start from here or you start from here. I would think it's still correct. Either you start from the beginning part or the ending part. It is still the correct. But of course the best it will be starting in the middle part. Starting from middle here to the middle here. So eventually it's just, times 4 is more accurate. Correct. Because it start from the middle average and then to the middle here. So I don't know whether you understand what I'm talking or not, because I'm figuring whether to put 5 or 4. So 4 will be more accurate because we start the speed of 30 is in the middle, and it will end 30 in the end 50 in the middle. To make it fair so we choose the middle. That is why from the middle, if you calculate properly, middle to mirror on it is 0.2 times 4, because here is I don't want to draw later, it become very messy. I don't think exam will ask until this difficult, unless the teacher want to train you guys. I don't think the exam will ask you so difficult, but I just want you to know that in terms of science, we don't say this is wrong, we don't say this is wrong, we don't say this is wrong. But in terms of science, when we do experiment, when you go to university, this will be the best, because the teacher will ask you, why you start from here 30 and not here 30, then you need to answer, especially in your university assignment. And your teacher will ask you why you don't want to use middle. Middle is more accurate, because we don't want to choose the low and high, we just choose the middle as the average, then we calculate the result for the acceleration. Then you will say, oh yeah. But if you just choose the middle, the teacher asks you why, then you say because if you choose the beginning or the most top part, it will not be that accurate because it did not calculate the average. So if you choose the middle, calculate the average, then the teacher said good, because you can answer. But I wouldn't say it's wrong, So I hope you can understand this concept about doing the experiment. So as we mentioned, the ticker tab can let you find 3 things. The two things. The speed means initial, final, or any strip. The second thing, because you got the speed and the time, you can calculate the acceleration. Okay, very good. This one is not correct 250, because the number is too big already. So 250 means in every 250 increase of speed in 1 second. So can you imagine, like 1 second, the first second the thing is 250 cm, the second second it will become 500, the third second it will become 750, the fourth second it will move in 1000 cm in 1 second. So it will be getting faster and faster. Here is 20, okay lah. So 1 second 20, second 40, third second what. So after that we can do a graph for the acceleration. Here didn't do lah, huh? It's supposed to have a graph. Then we can do the graph. Then we fill in the blank. Either the graph is like this or the graph is like this. But usually it's like this lah, huh? Like this. This is the graph is, here is the speed, here is the time. So the graph will be something like this. Okay, you won't get the time go up and up. Then it will be like the speed of light. But we know that almost all objects, it can really, at first it is slow a bit, then it go faster and faster. After that it reach the certain limit. Like let's say train. The speed limit is maybe 400, 500 km per hour. Car maybe 400, F1 car 400 km per hour. Plane 800, or rocket, there is also limit. You cannot find something that is beyond the limit of speed. Okay, so the graph will be something like that. The exam question might ask you, what does this mean? So I ask you, what does this mean? Let's say you are the university student, I'm the teacher. I close this part. Let's close this part. What does this mean? Okay, this means the ticker tab, at first it moves uniform speed. Okay, dot, because it's at the same speed. This one is getting faster or slower? Getting slower, right? At first there is a distance here, and then it gets slower. It moves fast, then here becomes slow. So it moves fast, here becomes slow. Here I say slow, become fast. The further away the line, the faster it get, correct or not? Because in 0.02 second, you move the longer distance, in the longer distance. Here, this one is what? Slow. Here I will say fast, and then slow again, and fast. So it'll be slow, fast, slow, fast, slow, fast. So let's see whether I'm correct or not. Sometimes also I do things and get it wrong, but it's okay. If we get wrong, then we learn. Okay, so it's called the uniform velocity. This one, velocity increase because it get faster. So we don't say it get faster in science term. We say velocity increase, because if you say it get faster, maybe you don't get answer, because the marking scheme is velocity increase. Okay, so velocity increase. Velocity decrease means slow to fast. Velocity increase. Direction of motion. Okay, so I think there's some mistake in the book. I'm not saying the book is not good. I say the book is good. I just say maybe there are some mistake. Okay, so here is fast to slow. So it's supposed to be uniform deceleration. Deceleration. This one is acceleration because it's slow to fast. So I put here acceleration. I download one notes. Let's look at the notes. I just go to Google and download some notes. So this is the ticker tab. This is fast. This is slow. Because the distance is fast, the distance is slow. Constant speed, means the distance is the same. So it will constant speed. This one you can see in the front. It is, where's my, in the front it is slow. Here is fast. So slow to fast, it will be acceleration. Let's look at the book again. Slow to fast, that's why I put here acceleration. So velocity increase, not velocity decrease. Let's look at these notes again. Lots of acceleration. Yeah. How about deceleration? Said he didn't put deceleration. Anyway, Yeah, he didn't put deceleration. So again, for fast to slow is deceleration. So that is why there's some mistake. The book put uniform. When we talk uniform acceleration, it is quite uniform. Very difficult to explain. And I'm scared I draw it wrongly. Okay, so let's say this is the graph. When we talk about uniform, let's say I use acceleration. This is the speed. This is the time. I do again. This is the speed. This is the time. Uniform acceleration will be something like this. A straight line. Because the speed increase in standard. If not uniform, it will be either like this or it will be like this. Up. I mean, not uniform lah. So it's not a straight line. Maybe the speed at first is very fast. Then after that, it also increase speed but very slow. Or at first it's very slow speed, then increase very fast speed. So that is called not uniform. Uniform means standard. Uniform speed. Of course, same with deceleration. If uniform deceleration, it will be like this. The speed come down. If not uniform, maybe it's like this, for example. Not uniform, it's a curve. So that's why we say uniform. When we wear uniform, everyone wear the same. Uniform means it's the same. We have the uniform, or we have uniform in our mindset. Maybe we all have the same mindset. So we walk in a uniform means everyone walk the same. So this is uniform. This is not uniform. If you got any question, you can put down in the comment. Yeah, so I hope you can. But not important lah. I don't think exam will ask until this difficult unless the teacher don't like you. No, I don't think for Form 4, it's a physics question actually. So again, many things already. Let's have a quick recap. Okay, acceleration, deceleration. Acceleration means slow to fast. Deceleration means fast to slow. So how we know? It depends on the dot. Distance between two consecutive lines increase. So this distance increase means, I know why already. If you read this statement, it is acceleration increase. Okay, if you read this lah, because distance 2 dot increase ma, and then if you read this statement, 2 consider decrease, so A should be decrease. So this one is acceleration increase, acceleration decrease. This one is acceleration. So if you say the front correct, the picture wrong. If you say the picture is wrong, then the what? I hope you get what I mean. It's just like, because here they put these two things wrongly already. Okay, so if not question, we take a short break, and I see you back by 9:10. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, see you. Bye bye.